So I'm wondering, we're talking a lot about effective technology, but what are the great things that kids are doing, but what are some challenges that you have faced in integrating technology, whether it's yourself in the classroom or whether it's students, or challenges that perhaps teachers you have in trying to inspire other teachers to use technology for students in the classroom?
I guess I'll start, for my role as a coach, dealing with those teachers who are hesitant to implement technology. And you got to start with the mindset that these teachers, they're doing what they think is best for kids. I don't think any teachers actively not trying to do what's best for kids, but they'll often say, well, I didn't learn with technology and I turned out fine. No, that's not how I learned. But just to take a quote from a best-selling author out here in the U.S., Adam Welcome, he says we can't use landline strategies with this Wi-Fi generation. I think that's a very powerful statement. And if we understand that the kids today, they don't know the world without the internet. They have no idea what the world is without the internet. We all do, and we appreciate both. But we need to understand that these kids don't, and we need to kind of meet them where they're at. And if we can help teachers see and understand that, that's a good first step into really dealing with those teachers who are hesitant towards implementing technology with their students.
All right, so I'm hearing from you, Adam, the challenges of reaching those teachers that aren't right away willing and excited about integrating tech. Any other challenges from our panelists that you have experienced in integrating technology for students in the classroom?
I kind of want to build on what Adam said, because I think that's part of it. But I also think that there are teachers out there that are integrating tech by giving them like a maths game or something to play or things like that. And I think thinking that that's kind of doing the right job. So I think it does come down to kind of a mindset of we're constantly trying to improve, and I think that's not necessarily the mindset that everyone has, and that I've done this, I've done that. But even us as tech coaches, and I was having a conversation with someone else the other day about how we also need to be evolving and not teaching the same things to teachers year after year after year after year. And I think that's where it kind of comes down to, is that we're living in a rapidly changing world, and while it was rapidly changing 20, 30 years ago when we were all in school, it's accelerated to a degree that it's really hard to compare. So I think that's the challenge, is that people don't necessarily realize how fast things change, and they'll make one change in the time that 1,000 have happened. So
that's an interesting point. Keeping up with all of the technology that's coming at us so quickly and innovating is certainly a challenge.
Yes.
So Sandra, what are your thoughts? What have you experienced as challenges in technology for the classroom?
Yeah, and just adding on to Michael, for me, a big part, I've worked most of my career in an inner city school in Toronto, and accessibility is always a challenge, where not everybody can afford the technology, and let alone the latest technology. We're in a much great have access to technology, but budget's always an issue, and other people have priorities somewhere else, and there are priorities somewhere else. Sometimes you need to build the outdoor playground for the students because they need that to run around. And so being able to allocate budgets and then purchase the right technology and figuring out what technology is the best given the budget that you have is always something that is a challenge. And then making sure that whatever technology you have is also something that lasts. It's not just a fad, and being wise about where you're spending the money, and communicating that with the budget holders, I think is something that's always a challenge.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, that if kids are going to be using technology, teachers are going to be integrating this. It's got to work, and it's got to be in the budget, but it's still that's a great point. Perla, what challenges have you faced in technology integration?
I share some of the ideas that you already mentioned, but one of the ideas that I am still trying to figure out how to manage is we as a teacher, right now, there is a gap between generation, even in teachers. The older teachers in my school, they are about they're 60 years old, and the youngest one are coming from universities are their 20s. So it is a pretty different mindset over there. For the veterans, sometimes it's hard to try to use new tools because they think that they are wasting time. So supporting them to change their mind and look at that process as an investment, because you will be learning how to do something that maybe is going to take 2 hours of your life right now, but it's going to solve a lot of time and problems and situations in the future. And since we know how to do things, how to do it in the older way, we want to go back. And fighting that mental war is hard. Why should I spend 10 hours in a training session with you if I know how to do it with this pencil and this paper, and my students still need handwriting and they need to talk each other, which is completely true. So I guess one of the biggest challenges is to find the balance and support others to see why both areas are still important and how to make it work for us. One of my points when I talk with my teachers is you have to try it yourself so you can transfer your experience to your students. You don't need to be a wizard in every single tool, but you need to have an idea. You need to be open to share your experience with them, even when you are failing. I mean, you know what? I don't know how to use that. Let's figure out it. I'm sure that there is plenty of manuals online, video tutorials or something to solve our problem in this moment. But at times for us as adults, it is hard to accept that we don't know, and we are also in a learning process, which is life. I mean, we are always in a learning process. That's my point.
Absolutely. I've heard a lot on this question about the challenges about mindset, largely teacher mindsets, right? Educators, so to speak, their mindsets with our challenges.